Just let the love begin.
My name is Ben, and this is my beautiful wife.
Lauren.
And we met over 11 years ago, almost 11 years ago. I came to the University of Toledo to get away from my parents and party a little bit. We worked together for about a semester. Next semester, I regained ground. We became friends. We started taking classes together. And then she would always call me up the night before, and she's like this really smart student, but she would ask me what needed to be done for class the next day. I don't understand that.
I kind of thought he was cute and wanted a chance to hang out with him maybe, but you kind of blew me up every time I called.
God changes my life. I'm walking out of residence hall room with a Bible under my arm.
This is in August.
In August.
School's starting again. So when I saw him wearing the What Would Jesus Do bracelet and carrying the Bible, I was intrigued, to say the least, and wanted to spend time with him. So we hung out. And I must confess that there was an ulterior motive. He had a very good friend named Steve, who I thought was incredibly attractive. So I thought that maybe by hanging out with Ben, I could get to know Steve too. So anyhow, we hung out for a little bit, and
I'll never forget that night. She asked to get together to hear what God had done in my life. And so we schedule a time to show up, and I do, and I tell her my story. And her eyes were sparkling. And she was listening, and she was excited, and she loved Jesus. And I was sitting there going, this is the kind of girl that is beautiful and loves God. And then a couple of months go by, we start hanging out together.
And I think in the meantime, too, I saw that it wasn't just a passing thing for you. Because even though I'd been interested in him the year before and thought you were good looking and a neat guy, I knew I couldn't date him if he didn't love Jesus like I did, because it wouldn't be good for me, and it just wouldn't be a great relationship. And so to see you got involved in some campus ministries, and he just got involved with the same group of friends and things like that.
We started dating, and it wasn't long after that where we started saying, you know what, and we were 19, so we were young at the time, but older than most of you that are watching this. So
we were in a position that we could start thinking about marriage seriously.
We started dating in September. A year later, we were engaged.
Okay, so we were engaged to get married, and we were going to get married Sunday of Labor Day weekend, so it was August, and I was cleaning out my things at my parents' house. So I was going through old letters and notes. I saved everything from high school, and I found these letters, and it happened to be a letter that was from a girl who was my pen pal when I was in junior high. So I read the letter, nothing exciting, called Ben on the phone and said, hey, do you know this girl, Missy? Turns out he grew up with her, went to school with her, that sort of thing. So funny, I threw the letters away. I found one last one, and I thought, I'm going to read it because there might be a mention of somebody that Ben knew. I open up the letter, and this little piece of paper falls out, and it was a separate piece of notebook paper from Missy's letter. And I pick it up, and I will quote it. It says, hey, sexy, heard bunches about you. Call me sometime, Ben J, with a phone number. Now, Ben's middle name is James, and it was the phone number of his parents at the house where he grew up. So I called him on the phone. Oh, my gosh, Ben, do you know that you wrote me your first note when we were in junior high? So at that point, we kind of knew, we felt like it was meant to be, I guess, right?
What's funny is I remember sitting in art class that day, and Missy was telling me about this girl. I did it one time, thought nothing of it, had forgotten completely about it. And so at that point, her dad, he had nothing. I mean, it was God's will so that we get married.
I suppose. It's a fun story anyway.
Yeah, it is a fun story. This is our love story. And the fun part is we're in the middle of it. And every marriage message when people are getting married always says marriage is beautiful and marriage is exciting and marriage isn't easy. And if I think about all of the love stories that I've ever seen that we love and appreciate, there's always difficulty and tension that come up. That's just a part of the story.
But it makes the story that much better.
I mean, it's really sickness, health, good times, bad times, whatever comes, we're going to do this together. And there's nobody that I would rather do this story with.